Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we figure out how to build products and recover from burnout. I'm Benedikt.
And I'm Brian. Each week we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we figure things out. Today is March 2nd, and I am feeling behind.
This is episode number 80, and I'm feeling busy.
I'm laughing because I had replaced you. That's how behind I feel. I had replaced your line. This is episode 80, and I am feeling. You had written busy, right?
Yeah, I had written busy.
And I was laughing because I was like, I'm feeling behind too. So I wrote it in there, but oh man, that was like me from 2 weeks ago, and I'm still feeling behind. Oh, that was so funny. Sorry, I didn't mean to try to impose upon you what you should be feeling.
No, that's fine. I still feel busy, and I guess that also implies feeling a little bit behind. So I think we're good.
Totally, yeah, applies all the way around,
Yeah.
Well, so I sent you a couple pictures in Slack before we started recording. I'll put them up on Twitter. But the big news for us is that over the weekend we got both our truck and our fifth wheel camper. So they're sitting out in our driveway, taking up basically the entire length of our driveway. I
keep looking at those pictures. It's huge.
It is intimidating. It is just so intimidatingly large. But people do it. I mean, I sent photos to my brother, and he was like, damn, are you sure you can handle that? I'm like, no. but people do, so I guess I'll learn. So have a couple months now to practice.
You need a special license for a big truck like that?
This is what I think is so incredibly ridiculous. No. You do not need, in the United States of America, a special license to just show up and say, hey, can I buy that 40-foot long trailer and then just drive it around the country? Oh, sure, you bought it. It's yours. You don't need a license to do that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's benefiting me in this moment because it, simplifies all of our logistics, but I'm just like, this is crazy. You should not be able to do this without a license. And so I'm looking up like training schools and, planning out very safe, like short, trips around like our area here. But no, you don't need a license. It's bonkers. Doesn't make any sense to me.
It feels bonkers to me as well.
It is bonkers.
I'm pretty sure you'd need a license for that over here.
I would imagine. Yeah.
I mean, the good thing is it's just a trailer to live in, so it's probably not that heavy, I think. Like, hopefully.
I think that one weighs 18,000, 16,000 pounds, something like that.
Okay, still a lot, but it's not like a cargo truck that weighs like, I don't know,
40,000 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilos, but
yeah.
It's still quite large. And I say that it varies state to state. Some states you do have to, when you register the trailer, you do have to show a certain license, but the state of Colorado is not one of them.
You're still allowed to drive it in those states,
yes,
are you?
You are, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess around here, up to a certain size, you're allowed to drive like trailers and even larger vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
But above that, you need a special license with like a special training and a permit. And I guess if it gets too big, you also need to have medical exams every couple years. So check your eyes and stuff like that. So
smart.
Yeah,
we should do that. So anyway, so the short story is, I'm gonna try to see if there's some sort of driving school or something that I can take, but that feels safe. I mean, that's the whole other part of it then is, going and sitting in a truck with somebody, to do the classes, but we'll see.
So for people who just listen to us rambling, like, what did you get?
Oh yeah,
Give people some keywords to Google for.
Okay, so, and I'll as soon as we get off here, I'll throw the photos up on Twitter, so that there's a reference point for anybody who is now listening tomorrow. Okay, but the truck is a Ford F-350 crew cab, which means like 2 full doors, 6.7 liter turbo diesel dual rear wheel. I have no idea what the 6.7 liter turbo diesel thing means, other than you want it in order to pull the trailer that we got, which is a 41-foot. It's called a Grand Design Reflection, and the model is a 367 BHS, which we got because we liked the configuration of the middle bedroom with a little loft over it, so the 3 kids can have a little bit of space there. Yeah, so it is a very long rig, all in all, from the size of the truck and then throwing an additional 40 feet on the back of it. Gonna be quite the learning experience to sort that out. But
yeah, but you drove it a little bit already, or did you?
I drove the truck. I drove the truck. We had the trailer delivered. There was no way that I felt like, oh sure, first time ever driving it, I'll just go pick it up somewhere across the country and bring it here. Because we were just shopping nationwide, finding the best. We knew what kind of floor plan we really needed, to feel like let's give ourselves the best chance of making this work over 14 months. And so then we kind of had to narrow it down of, we know that's the model we want. What's the best price? Where can we get it? And this particular one, we're in Colorado. It was in Virginia, which is like 1,700 miles away or something like that. So there was no way that I was gonna, for the first time ever.
Free training included.
Yeah. Yes, right. Well, son, you just get on the interstate and head west. Okay, cool. Let's do it. No. Anyway, so yeah, so it's sitting out there, and Laura and the kids are just loving it. Hopping in there.
You're scared.
And I'm yeah. I'm nervous, to say the least, but I mean, when we first got the pop-up camper, which now seems like a tiny little, go-kart plaything, like I was just white knuckle driving, just like panicked and paranoid the whole time. And then, now I can, basically drive it through snow and wouldn't be nervous. Yeah. But, and so I know that I will eventually feel that way with this. I can't imagine it, but I have to believe it. So, yeah. Hopefully within the next day or two, I'll take a test, like little loop around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then take it out on the highway, and then take it out further, but just kind of like, just get a sense of the turning and dimensions and all that. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's the big news here.
Did you spend the night in it, like in the trailer?
No, not yet. Well, we will, but we're still just kind of getting a sense for all the systems and the, electricity, propane, everything, like get a sense for how everything works on this thing compared to our little pop-up tent. Yeah. So anyway, that's what's new with me. What about you? How are things going?
Yeah, things are okay. The weather is still nice around here, so I'm enjoying that a lot. Work-wise, I'm still working on the new user and company profiles. Turns out it's a lot more work than I anticipated, because like the screens I got from Jane were like 3 or 4 screens, for like 2 for the users and 2 for the companies. But turns out like there are a lot of moving parts in there, so it needs a lot of work to just like get it wired up correctly and stuff like that. And then as I said, it's like one of the oldest pieces of the entire UI. So basically replacing everything. And yeah, it's just a lot of work. So I'm still on it, but I like where it's going. It feels neat, and the code feels a lot more tidy than previously. So yeah, we'll eventually get there. But that's the biggest thing I've been working on. We did have a bit of a problem with our background processing yesterday, out of the blue again, and for some reason we experienced the deadlock again. So the segment evaluation would like just stop working and just like block the entire background processing by like just like having long running jobs for like hours and hours and hours. And it turned out they were basically all the jobs were trying to acquire a lock on the database table that manages relationships between users and segments. And honestly, I still don't fully understand why this is happening, but I guess it's because we have like, when we reevaluate an entire segment, we basically run a long, expensive query to get like all the users that match that segment.
Okay.
And then add them to the segment one by one. And in addition to that, when a user changes, we also reevaluate that particular user against all the existing segments. And my suspicion is that if you have both of those running at the same time, like the big one that just like takes one segment and checks like all users, and another one that's one user that checks all segments, there can be a state where like both of these jobs want to insert the same row into the table, and they might be able to like acquire the same locks for some reason.
Yeah.
And just like wait for forever until they can continue executing. My solution for now is to basically just get rid of the transaction that wraps the entire select everything and insert everything in the segment reevaluation, which feels like a little bit scary because I like transactions because they keep my data consistent. But I guess in this particular case, it was just like locking things for too long.
Mm-hmm.
And after thinking about it for a while, I think it's probably not even needed, because like if things change in that, like while that job is still running, like another job will probably just remove that row or insert it back in or whatever. So it should be fine. But yeah, maybe I traded the deadlock, fixing the deadlock, for introducing a consistency problem. But like only time will tell. Yeah, that's about it on the development side of things. In other news, like in marketing news, Jane has been setting up like workshops and webinars with partnerships, like making partnerships with other software companies that like serve a similar market, and
Nice.
started doing workshops with them. The first one is right now as we speak.
Oh, okay. I hope it is currently going well.
I hope so too. One of the learnings though is like when we set this up with the other company, we suggested that they include us in their, like send an email to their mailing list and announce it and stuff like that. And they did, but it was like in their weekly or even monthly newsletter at the very bottom, like a tiny paragraph.
Yeah.
So we only got, at least last time we checked it, we only got like one sign up for this. So it might be that Jane is currently just sitting there waiting for anyone to show up. So that's a learning. I guess for the next one, we'll ask them to like do a dedicated email,
like a dedicated distribution,
just about this.
Yep.
And hopefully that goes better.
Yeah.
But still, I think this is a good effort, and we learned something on this first one, and hopefully the next ones will go better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I report back next week. I don't have a clue what's going on over there right now.
Oh, I'm sure. It's, even if it's underattended, I'm sure the content is good. And yeah, how are y'all like determining which companies to reach out to and to partner with on this sort of thing? Like, what's that process like?
One thing, like this particular one, the first one we're doing is with Rudderstack, where we recently built integration for, and we were in touch with their marketing team anyways to discuss a little bit of co-promotion. So we just pitched that. The one next week is with Refiner, and I guess that's just like by reaching out to Moritz, asking him if he's up for it. And then Jane hired a marketing person or someone to help with marketing, and they went through, I think they went through all of her Twitter followers, just like sourcing potential companies that are potential fit, and she started reaching out to them like as a warm lead kind of, because they know Jane, and then they're hopefully more likely to be up for something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's been going on. We also launched a new paid ads campaign, or a couple new paid ad campaigns for lead magnets. So we created 3 new lead magnets. One is basically a guide on user onboarding, which is more or less the slide deck from the workshops. The other one is like a PDF with templates. So we have these templates for various use cases, and we bundle them up into a PDF. And the third one is the worksheets that we had as lead magnets for quite a while, that help you like figure out what you want to track and what emails you want to send. And we created landing pages for those, as well as paid ad campaigns that just like send people there. And the goal is to get, instead of trying to get people to book a demo call or sign up, is like just get them on the mailing list and then hope to build trust over there over a couple of weeks or so. And so far it looks like it's working a little bit better, like in terms of actual signups, like actual call to action completions. I mean, who knows what the signups to the mailing lists are worth, but yeah, I mean, at least people are signing up for a mailing list to get those lead magnets. So we have to see, like in the long run, how good it works. But I'm cautiously optimistic that this is better than anything we did before.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of like signups and trials and conversions, we'll have to see.
Have to wait. Yeah.
Probably not an immediate spike.
Yeah, you gotta let like a little bit of time go to let it average out, I guess.
Yeah,
so you can
exactly.
Tell. Yep.
Yeah, that's about it. Like, trying to think of anything else. Oh yeah, we set up Sigmetrics to basically try to do analytics across all the different tools we're doing. Sigmetrics is in the Tiny Seed batch we're in, so they're like
cool
kind of buddies. And it looks like it's a super powerful tool, but we are still so early in it that I still have problems like figuring out how exactly it's supposed to work and how exactly we do the attribution. But if it works as promised, it will be super useful to figure out like if all of this ad campaign drip sequence to sign up thing will actually work, because it's supposed to track like the entire journey and like figure out like attribution along
the way,
the entire path.
Okay,
so that will be interesting. Like if this works, this will be a good resource to figure out like how to improve the marketing and figure out what works and what doesn't, especially with a kind of longer journey now.
All right, interesting. So segmetrics.io. This is pretty interesting. Actually, I may show this to my client that I'm working with, because this is something that they're totally struggling with, is attribution across all their
Yeah,
different channels. So I'll show them, see if it can help out.
the pitch definitely is promising.
Yeah.
Let's
Well.
see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see how we can make it work. Like,
Delivers.
I'm sure the tool itself is good, but I have a feeling that it takes a little while to figure out like how to configure all the different services to work well
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Like,
Go ahead. Sorry, I mean to interrupt.
no, go ahead.
I'm kind of, I mean, just with it, just very cursory glance looking at it, source attribution, and then they opt in, and then all these different engagement touch points, and then tracking, their purchases, lifetime value, and everything like that. What sort of effect do new privacy policies, you know, have an impact there, needing to like throw up notifications at so many different points along the way? And I just, I mean, I've looked at it for
Yeah.
30 seconds, but that's my first thought is, what sort of implications are there?
Yeah, that's a big question, to be honest. I don't have a good answer.
Okay. Okay.
We added their tracking snippet to the website, but behind
Uh-huh.
the cookie consent, so it
Yeah.
will only enable once you confirm it. And it's also, we also added it to a list of sub processors, so in at least in theory, people can read about it and know that we will send their customer data there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, if we're honest with all of this, like, you should probably not do it. It feels like definitely a gray area to me.
Like,
Yeah,
you should not do it in terms of you should not be
and
tracking their.
yeah, it's just like, I mean, in a way, all those tools are just like creating user personas or
Yeah.
even like profiles down to the person, tracking like all their behavior across like
Right.
several systems. It's a little bit problematic, I'd say.
Okay, we had not planned on talking about this. Um, I I am man, where to even start? I guess I don't have an issue if you do not know, like, my home address, and you're not gonna be, selling that around the world. I honestly want you to know, what keyword did I search for? What did I choose to sign up for, and what did I not? What email did I respond to that made me make the purchase?
Yeah,
Like, as long as you don't then package that up and sell it to somebody else, not only do I not have a problem with you knowing that, I want you to be able to know that, because it gives you, as long as you do not sell and share that data, it gives you, the business, a
yeah,
better opportunity of sharing that same value with more people just like me. And I
hmm,
have said, this is valuable what you're doing. I will exchange you money for that thing that you are offering. That improves my current situation.
yeah,
I want you to be able to do that for more people more regularly. So, okay, that's my default position. What's your
yeah.
response to that?
I think the thing I challenge is that assumes that you end up being a customer, and that you're actually like a happy customer and like the
Okay.
product.
Yes, it
But
does.
like, if you're doing this, tracking starts like way before you become a customer and decide to trust the company
Mhm.
with your data. And so yeah, like, if you're just like browsing websites, and you're essentially already building up your profile there. And I mean, it like the grand culmination is like entering your billing address at the end of it, and then basically giving up all your privacy. But in a way, like, the profile's already building if you want it or not before that,
Yeah.
before you
Yep.
definitely before you make the choice. So I still I think I'm with you. Like, it's less problematic for like if you start a contract with a company and start a subscription, of course they will know who you are and they will have like details about you. But and yeah, I guess
before then,
before then it's like kind of problematic, and and it also plays into like, it's not only trusting Userlist, for example, but by extension you also have to trust all the providers we use to do all of that. And I mean, I believe we try to do a good job of like only picking like reputable tools and stuff like that, but
of course
that doesn't have to be true for everyone. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you bring up a really good point, which is the part of, I mean, it looks like what Segmetrics, and I would assume services like it, you know, the unknown, like the gray area is, okay, how did this person find us to begin with? And that first interaction, that first session, that's when I'm most likely to go ahead and just decline cookie consent, you know? On those first few visits, which is where the so much value will be for you. And then after, oh, okay, yeah, this is cool, this is great. Now I'm opted in. I'm getting emails, you know, from that point on. You're starting to build the profile. So okay, that is interesting. I'm curious how, like, what percentage of people initially decline that to begin with, and you kind of lose that first lead attribution point, which is what's so important.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
well,
it's a balance, I guess. Like, we can either not like care about any privacy, or we cannot like have like perfect data. Yeah, it's a tough balance.
I definitely come down somewhere in the middle, but in the direction of, I probably come down at definitely leaning in the direction of, we've broken the internet by putting a cookie consent page on every single site that people, for the most part, just accept anyway. So unintended consequences there, I think, have made the internet worse.
Oh, for sure.
but you know, Facebook, and you know, privacy problems there had made it much worse than that before. So as in response to all of that nonsense. So
I hope we'll eventually recorrect a little bit, like in terms of the I hate cookie consent pop-ups. They're just like stupid. Especially like the amount of dark patterns in those is just like ridiculous. I try to find this, but there was a short video on Twitter somewhere, basically someone like playing out that interaction between user and website.
Oh.
Hello, nice to meet you. Do you want a cookie? No, thank you. Okay, if you don't want cookies, you can either accept all, or you have to reject every single type of cookie individually and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think that's the part where it's like, it just like gets super annoying, and
I know
it just tricks people in eventually clicking accept, because it's just too annoying. And I think we need a better solution. I'm kind of sad that the do not track header, that I think it was a proposal to be built into browsers and stuff like that. And it sounds like, or it looks like, it's deprecated and will not be like rolled out as a standard. I feel like that would have been a nice way to handle this. Like have like a flag on the browser that's like, and maybe having it as a Boolean value isn't perfect, but like having like a score, like how much tracking is fine, something like that. That would have been nice. Yeah,
it's messy.
We'll figure it out over
business.
the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, hopefully so. Hopefully. Yeah. Internet just continues to get worse otherwise, but hopefully we'll sort it out. Well,
anything else going on for you this week or last week?
Yeah, I mean, I guess last thing is, Graham and I I think I mentioned that we had a big, like a major version change, basically.
Yeah.
From not necessarily tiny little tweaks anymore to cards and card copy, but actually a shift of the way that the game tracks rounds and advances. And he and I just did a really quick playthrough of it online yesterday on Tabletopia, and it played really good. It seemed like it played faster. It was more condensed, like the action, the drama basically was just condensed into a shorter game. So it was a big step in the right direction. We still got some tweaks to do before we feel like we want to open it back up, like update the rule book and then, open that game back up. But that was a pretty good feeling. Man, I feel like one bummer of it was that, we were pretty much to the point where we had all the component lists. We knew how many cards we needed, graphics, etc. And there's this service called Game Crafter, where you can send them all of your graphics and your list of components that you need, and they will put together like a hard, like a physical copy of the game, and it costs like, for a game that you would be able to get manufactured for $15, if you were having like 1,000 of them made, it would cost you $50 or $60, which is actually not bad. Like, that's about the cost of a retail board game anyway. And so we were like super excited, felt like we were so close to, being ready to have a couple of copies in our hands to play. And then we had to make this decision of, okay, we actually have a really big revision to go here. So just felt like, again, just tantalizingly close to having a physical version of the game. And then having that, pulled back was just, it was a little bit of a deflating moment. But, the right, we both agree, like the right move, for sure. Yeah. But it's just like,
yeah.
So, but I mean, and we're spoiled. Like, I can't imagine how much more difficult and how slower this is if you aren't doing prototyping virtually. I mean, I don't know. I guess you get faster at it and just become accustomed to just tearing up cards and throwing them away, but it's a lot. So anyway, so that's what's new on that side of things. About 8 or so customer interviews lined up for this Lego project this week. So that is moving along. And yeah, just pushing that one forward. Hopefully end up with a very delighted customer and a killer case study. So
yeah, still excited about that one.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. By the way, I don't know if this one is like, it's just in Germany, but it's probably an international. But there's a TV commercial for Microsoft Teams on TV right now, which is like a sort of mini case study of like Hasbro or something like that. And they like interview like some of their employees on like how things changed with COVID, and they're like basically play testing their games over Microsoft Teams. Like,
oh my gosh, I need to find that.
Getting families to play their games and then just like watching them over video chat. And whenever that ad comes up, I'm like, this is fine.
Totally. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need to be sure to search for that, find that. Yeah.
Maybe it's like, of course, like it's in German over here, but I can't imagine like that it's not an international ad campaign.
Yeah.
Because
yeah. Cool.
Tiny tidbit.
I'll check it out.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's all I got. Good catching up, man. We'll talk next week.
Have a nice week, and don't crash the trailer.
Okay. Good advice. Later.
Bye.